Hey, great day, everybody. Welcome to the buffet with Tony Yarber. Listen, I am super excited about today's show. Super excited about this episode. We are going to have some real interesting conversations this afternoon. So go on and share. Let everybody know that the buffet is live. The table is spread. We've got the hottest Friday wine down that you're going to find anywhere as it relates to your local, state, and federal politics, whether we're talking about current events. Today we're talking all things current events, and we're particularly talking around crime in Jackson, specifically about the crime summit that happened yesterday. One of my homeboys called it the Crime Clown Show. And I kind of tend to agree with him. We're going to talk Capitol Police. We're also going to talk about this announcement that the mayor made yesterday about almost $800 million that's coming to the city. That's been increased from what we were talking about, $600 million. And we're going to get into some of the minutia of those things once we dive in. I need you right now to go on and share. And go on and like, go on and press those stars. And go on and let folks know that the buffet is live. Look, I'm inviting you to participate today, be a part of what we're doing, be a part of the show. You can do that via your comments. We'll be paying attention and we'll be watching that. So looking forward to your participation today and expecting to have a real good time. Thank you, Miss Grayson. I see the stars. What's going on, Miss Lewis? Good to see you. Y'all make sure y'all press that share button. I'm ready to get started. I came in and on my way in here, I'd been paying attention because I'm uniquely interested in what's happening in D.C. right now at the Capitol as they're trying to elect a speaker. And look, I like politics just like everybody else. I've been enjoying seeing Republicans do exactly what we always knew that they would do if they got control, and that is make a mess, make an absolute mess. What blows my mind, here's what blows my mind. What blows my mind is that folk right here in the state of Mississippi, where the state legislature the supermajority are Republicans, all right? And I won't even run through all of the statistics. I'm not going to even run down all of the things that are wrong in the state of Mississippi, but Republican leadership. And so what's happening in D.C., I'm no more surprised about it than anybody else. I expected it, and I expect a whole lot more of it. So y'all buckle in, grab your popcorn. It's gonna be crazy in D.C. over the next, I don't know how long, 2 years maybe. But buckle in for the ride. It's gonna be real interesting. Yesterday, shifting gears. Yesterday, there was a crime panel summit discussion or some that it appeared that the mayor hosted, Mayor Lumumba hosted. I don't know. I saw him in the center. I'm just assuming. There was a representative from the U.S. Marshals there. The chief of Jackson Police was there. I saw our very fine High Sheriff Tyree Jones was there, and some other folks sitting around the table that represented community members, and the mayor's sister, Miss Rukia, was there. I think I saw maybe Deputy Chief Hearns around the table, and I don't normally dive into stuff, particularly when it comes to actual figureheads, and I try to avoid that. I try to avoid any direct criticism unless I got to do it. But I just want to be honest that I don't know what I watched yesterday. I have no idea what I was watching. Initially, when I tuned in and I heard the young man from the U.S. Marshals giving his spiel, initially I'm under the assumption that we're here to hear about some partnership. You got all these partners around the table, or potential partners, opportunities for partnership. And that's what I'm expecting. And that thing went left. I don't know what happened in the midst of all of that. I don't know how old ladies who can't sit on their porches got lost. I don't know how a 15-year-old girl who had just been shot was the remnants of her still likely on Meadow Lane out in South Jackson, and it just seemed as though the people in the room were tone deaf. It was as if. And don't get me wrong, I understand that there is a level of policing that has to be done from a real place of trust, and I get that. You're talking to a guy whose administration reduced violent crime by 15%, so I get that. What I don't think I was understanding yesterday was it almost looked like there was this attack on policing, and I'm not talking about particular people. I'm talking about the tone. Yeah, Bishop, that's what I got, man. I got that. That's what I thought. It was almost like the people were tone deaf in the room, and I'm sitting at home, still living in South Jackson. Children still live around the corner from Meadow Lane, and I'm getting frustrated as I don't know what, because at some point, I don't even know that the people in the room were talking about protecting and serving the community anymore. I don't know what it turned to. Let me tell you the first thing that let me know. Yeah, Bishop, absolutely. The people in the room had their hearing aids turned down. When I first turned the TV on rather, or the laptop, whatever I was on, and I'm watching, and I immediately sat up because I saw Mayor Lumumba sitting next to a federal official. I was like, oh, it's a federal law enforcement official. Let me be clear, a federal law enforcement official. And I sat up, I was like, okay, this is about to be interesting, because that ain't typically what we see. We don't really see the mayor dealing with the feds like that. So I sat up, and I was really trying to take it seriously, but I could not get over the fact that all of the people in the room who represent these agencies, who represent opportunities for partnership, had I been in the room, I would have felt a little uncomfortable about even being there. And here's why. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. First of all, I believe that the people that should have been in the room were people that represent Capitol Police. Let me just say that. All right. The people who should have been in the room for what I heard happening in the room should have been Capitol Police. I turned my TV on to understand or to listen or to find out about some partnership, okay? A partnership that was gonna stop 15-year-old girls from getting killed in the doggone street. I thought I was turning to it to understand or to learn or to hear or to find out about some partnership that was going to provide wraparound services that would not only help to suppress crime, but also go into communities, figure out, try to understand what are the contributing factors, and then apply the necessary resources in those areas to do it. We got to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. You got me? We got to learn how to provide support where that support is necessary, and then we've got to not mind providing the ride in cases where the ride should not be spared. And I think we can do both of those. I ain't hear that yesterday. I didn't hear that yesterday. What I really heard was more of the same. I heard more of the same. I heard we're gonna have 100 and something murders again this year. What I heard was there is no real plan in place. I ain't hear nothing from the chief. I heard nothing from the chief. Nothing. I heard nothing from the chief. Bishop says 2 members of my church saw the shooting before coming to church Wednesday. Yeah, man, and that's the traumatic those are the traumatic kinds of things that folk are dealing with, and we're walking around here spending money on stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Look, and I get it. I'm saying that Capitol Police should have been in the room yesterday, and here's why I'm gonna tell you why I believe Capitol Police should have been in the room. Now, the legislation that put Capitol Police in place, the legislation, Kim, you crazy, you about right. The legislation that was put in place, or that put Capitol Police in place, is the Capitol Complex legislation. All right, so it was more than one piece. There's also infrastructure improvements that's happening. There's a whole infrastructure master plan. 2 projects have already gotten underway and finished. So it's not just policing, law enforcement, it's also infrastructure improvements as well. Well, on this very show, back in the summertime, Tony Yarber was asking, where is the memorandum of understanding that the Jackson Police Department and the Capitol Police are supposed to have in place per the legislation? Well, there were a few articles done here and there where the chief of the Capitol Police said exactly the right things, all of the right stuff. Well, we met with the leadership in Jackson, and we're looking forward to a relationship. He said all the right things. Over in Jackson, they said all the right things. And I look, now, if there is anybody out here who can say, nah, Tony, you wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, please call 1-800-492-5186. I want you to correct me. I want to be wrong, but I don't believe I am, because I have looked. And there is still no mention of a memorandum of understanding in place. Why is that important, Tony, to this entire conversation about all of the stuff that's happening with Capitol Police, about all of the stuff that's going on with Capitol Police? Why is that important? That is important because the MOU does all of the things that everybody's complaining about. This whole idea of jurisdiction, this whole idea of, if I call from downtown, who's going to respond, JPD or Capitol Police? If you don't have the memorandum of understanding in place, how in the world do you expect for there to be some kind of harmonious policing in the Capitol complex? Now, look, I'm with you when you're right. I'm with you when you're right. But when I know that there's some other stuff, then I'm gonna call it out. Bishop says, but TY, what you say? But TY, should the Capitol Police be trolling outside of the Capitol and government buildings? Yes, Bishop. Yes, there is an area based on the Capitol Complex legislation that encompasses a large swath of the central part of the city of Jackson. Let me tell you how we got there. I'm glad you asked me. We have always begged the state of Mississippi for payment in lieu of taxes. When I became mayor, I knew that was something that would not happen. It would not be realized because the people down there did not trust the city of Jackson for various reasons. So we sat down, we started thinking about a plan. We considered a capital, we called the Capitol Complex. We called the former mayor, Kane Ditto, because he had a similar proposal. We met our people, hashed that thing out, worked with the Speaker of the House, worked with the Lieutenant Governor, and we got it passed. All right, we got it passed. Now, the reason we got it passed is because the legislation provided for a pot of money to be invested in that was earmarked for infrastructure improvement. and 4, law enforcement for Jackson. It was how the state was going to take care of, because what we did was we carved it out to include all of the state buildings. So whether we're talking about the state capitol, whether we're talking about DHS, the Capitol Police would have the shared jurisdiction with the city of Jackson in patrolling those areas. Or you could take the resources that are the city of Jackson, JPD, and move those out to areas where little kids are getting shot. And Capitol Police could patrol this area and we could partner. But there's no MOU in place. There's no MOU in place. And let me tell you what I believe. Let me tell you what I believe. Again, if I'm wrong, please call now. Please call 1-800-492-5186. Or you can jump under here. I need everybody, if you're on and you hadn't done this yet, please go share. Hey, y'all got to tell me in the back when it's time to go to commercial, because I don't know. I got 2 more minutes. All right, good. Let me gin in this last 2 more minutes before we go to break. Now, I want to be very clear, because don't nobody need to call me or text me or message me with no foolishness about taking up for Capitol Police. I don't know nothing about Capitol Police. I don't even know who Bo Lucky is. Lucky. I don't even know how to say his name. I don't know nobody who work for Capitol Police. But what I am saying is that it's a dead cat on the line. Because if y'all are serious about developing trust, and this goes for the city of Jackson too. If you're serious about creating trust, then y'all would have worked this MOU out already. But y'all playing games. You're playing games, and I get it. I understand. I heard you loud and clear yesterday at your summit. I heard you. I heard you. But you got to be honest with folk. You got to say that there is something that is in place that we have not complied with. We have not sat down and said, here's how we're going to handle these calls. Here's how we're going to handle chases. Here's how we're going to handle arrests. Here's how we're going to police in this Capitol Police District. Here's how we're going to do that. And then we're going to turn around and tell the people that. We're going to be transparent and let folks know what we're doing, but y'all playing games with us. Who is y'all? Whoever should be organizing and seeing the implementation of the doggone MOU. Stop playing with folks. Stop playing with people's emotions and stop playing with people's trauma. Stop it. Yesterday, Capitol Police should have been in that doggone meeting, and there should have been some conversation about that MOU. There should have been some conversations about how do we see policing in the doggone city of Jackson with partnership with the federal government, with the sheriff, the high sheriff, Tyree Jones, Chief Davis, and Bo Lucky, whatever his name is. No disrespect. All right? So, I look, it frustrates me, okay? It frustrates me to see people playing politics, playing games. When just be honest, man. Just be honest. Just be honest, because people are dying. People are scared, all right? Because we're not going to be able to continue to guilt people, good people, who are leaving this city, because the people who are asking to take care of those things are playing with us. And that's what's going on. That's all it is to it. When Pastor Pickett wouldn't be stressed out every day, all day, if somebody would sit down with him and say to him, look, this is why this is going on, man, because there is no MOU in place that applies accountability to nobody. So everybody's able now to do you like this. Everybody can play with you because there's no MOU in place that calls for real accountability. And I'm sick of it. Yeah, I'm sick of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, look, I don't know how much time I got left, but we're going to run to this commercial. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to wrap up this conversation on the other side of the break, and then we're going to dive in some more about this $800 million that's getting ready to hit the city, but not so much. Blessings on you. See you on the other side of the break.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the We Believe Global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at webelieve.global.
And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the buffet. My name is Tony Yarber, and you have found yourself in the midst of a real good time. We ain't here for a long time on Friday. It's the tightest, hottest, fastest Friday wind down that you'll find anywhere in the metro, where we're giving you all the best information concerning local, state, and national politics, as well as touching some current events when we can. Right now, we are knee deep in having a conversation about what's happening with Capitol Police. Chris Williams says, so is it the mayor or the city council responsibility for this conversation? Well, I don't know. I don't know whose responsibility it is directly, but let me tell you how I would handle it. If it was me, the first thing that I would do is I would send my chief to talk to their chief to begin the initial conversations about what that should, could, and ought to look like. I would task also the attorney who represents the police department to also work in tandem with whatever legal representation that they have at the Capitol, so that we could put together an MOU to then be presented to the city council. The city council would then review that MOU, have an opportunity through representative government to make decisions on behalf of the people as it relates to that MOU. But you got to have those things in place, because those are the things that put the guardrails there. How can we honestly, legitimately, genuinely have a real conversation about what Capitol Police are or are not doing, and we ain't even got a doggone MOU in place? It's crazy. It is as crazy as the doggone 1% sales tax commission spending money without a master plan being in place. I have no idea what's going on around here. Like, I'm literally living in the doggone Twilight Zone in the city of Jackson. I have no idea what's going on. I feel like Tina Turner in the beginning of the movie. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship. Abusive relationship. Like I wanna defend, I wanna be able to do that, but I can't, because we ain't got our stuff together. We ain't got our stuff together. What's going on, brother Malcolm Johnson? Miss Tracy, what's happening? Tommy, what's good, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. I just look. This is how I live my life. Okay, I live my life. I believe that things can be both and. You can be a good person and do dumb stuff. Yeah, that is super duper possible. You can be a great daddy and a terrible husband, all in the same house. That is possible. You can also be a police department, whether it's JPD, the sheriff department, or whoever. You can be a great agency. You can have all of your accreditation. Y'all can do all of the training and all of that stuff. What's going on, bro, Tim? You can do all of that stuff and still have some things that you need to have dealt with, but you can only deal with it through structure. And in this case, that MOU is that structure. Let me get out of that. I wanted to deal with it because yesterday, that crime summit, sit down, talk, whatever it was real insulting to people that know better. All right? It was real insulting to people who genuinely want to live in a crime-free, in a safe city. Okay? Yep. I was insulted. Sure was. I was insulted. Now, on yesterday morning, the mayor had a big announcement. and he made this announcement. I look, today in 2023, everybody, it's all about grace and accountability, and I don't want y'all to be gaslit in 2023. There was an announcement yesterday that instead of $600 million, now the city was going to be getting right at $800 million for the water crisis. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. In this bill that was voted on and passed in the Omni bill, this bill had $600 million. They've tacked on another $100 and something million. And the last time we were here, we talked about opportunities if that money was to hit the streets. Well, what I failed to tell you was that the city now has a third-party administrator. That money is going to flow through that third-party administrator, not through the city of Jackson. The mayor made his announcement, but he ain't had nothing to do with that. He ain't lobbied nobody. He ain't helped write no bills. He ain't had nothing to do with that. Nothing. He ain't had nothing to do with that. That wasn't a win. Okay? That wasn't a win. That's a bailout. A bailout ain't a win. All right? A win would have been had they moved sooner, like we was talking about last summer. Had the council and the mayor and all them moved sooner to opportunity for privatization. The same thing could have happened without federal interventions, without this whole issue with the consent decree, and without more lawsuits being filed. I said it because I said we don't have the capacity to do this. We don't have the expertise in place to do this. Let's get a third-party administrator. But see, in Jackson, privatization is a bad word. And I get it. I understand. But I've been in this game long enough. I know who it's a bad word too. Okay? But guess what we are now? Privatized. With no say-so. Nothing. No say-so. $800 million is getting ready to come to Jackson. And I am telling you right now, it ain't now chocolate drop that look like me and you. That look like us. When they get done with all of it, we may have 10%. We may stretch. We may. But because it's the state, and the state has a history of awarding less than 1% to black folks and minorities and women, then I wouldn't bank on it. But here we are. Here we are. And it's sad. It's sad commentary. You are absolutely right, Angela Grayson. We're in a leadership crisis. We're in a leadership crisis. When I looked at that panel yesterday, the only person that I trusted was the high sheriff. I was looking at him the whole time. I was waiting on him to, man, say something. Can you please? But after a while, the high sheriff wasn't even saying nothing, and I got it. I was like, you know what? I get it, because I'm looking at him, and he looked like he would rather be somewhere in South Jackson body slamming somebody who just broke in somebody's house. Now I'm being funny, and those of you who know, you know, all right? Because that did happen when he was on SWAT. Now, when there is some serious consideration of where we are, then we'll get serious about how we start picking leadership. We'll get serious about what we demand out of them. And we're going to get serious about asking the right people the right kinds of questions. At this money that's coming has nothing to do with the mayor. You need to thank Bennett Thompson. You need to thank the Republican Wicker. You need to thank the Republican Cindy Hyde Smith. Those three. That's who you need to thank. They made that happen. They worked that out. Yeah, I know they end up turning around. Yeah, I get all that. But they did that. Okay? So that wasn't a win. To be honest with you, it's really an indictment on your leadership. when you got to be bailed out. I said what I said, and I will continue to do that right here at the buffet with Tony Yarber every Friday, 3 o'clock. Looking to see you here, same time, same place. God bless you. Call me if you want to sponsor.